Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the player ratings, Everton 0, Liverpool 0 in the Merseyside derby at Goodison Park this afternoon. Another point for Everton, fourth consecutive draw on the bounce, this time of course in the Merseyside derby, and what for me was a very good performance by Everton. Hard work, grit, determination, desire, passion, all of that. Frank Lampard is really building something at Everton Football Club for the first time in a long time, and I mean years. It feels like Everton have got an identity. It feels like Everton are building towards something, and okay, we haven't managed to get a win yet in the opening 6 games, but it very much does feel like that win will come, and when that win does come, I think we will, we'll go on quite some run because we seem so organised defensively. There seems to be so much desire. As I said, everybody's fighting for each other. We're getting to balls before opposition players. We're getting going into challenges. It was another really hard-fought, gritty performance today, and what was a gritty game of football. To be fair, it was probably the most even Merseyside derby there's been in a long time. Even in previous derbies when there's been draws, it hasn't been as even as it was today. They had opportunities, of course, hit the post a couple of times. We had opportunities, of course. Tom Davies hitting the post in the first half, Connor Cody being millimetres offside, with his goal. We had Mopey who had an opportunity. We had one where it was, I think McNeil hit it and it was deflected, actually off the hand of James Milner, who saves it, and Alisson made an unbelievable save. Jordan Pickford was unbelievable today. It was a really tough, proper, hard-fought Merseyside derby, and one that I think we can be really proud of, despite the fact we haven't got a win, and we could have got a win, and on another day we could have been 2 or 3-0 up in that game. I suppose them lot would say on another day they could have been 2 or 3-0 up as well, so I feel like a point was probably deserved, probably fair. But yeah, really proud of the lads today, and really proud of what Frank Lampard is building, because to say we are 6 games into a Premier League season without a win, I haven't felt this good about Everton in a long time, and those wins will come. The manager said after the game today, those wins will come, and they will. But for today, I think we can be happy with that performance. I don't think there'll be many Evertonians. There'll be Blues that are disappointed. I'm disappointed myself, and a little bit frustrated. But I don't think there'll be any Blues that can criticise many of them Everton players today, because I thought they were brilliant. Let's get straight into it then. These are the player ratings. Obviously, we have just done the instant match reaction. It is up on the channel now. If you haven't checked that out, please do go and check that out after this one. Let's just jump straight into it. Jordan Pickford, 10 out of 10 for me today. Absolute 10 out of 10. I was thinking about dropping it to a 9.5 because some of his distribution towards the end of the game was a little bit wayward. He had a couple of goal kicks that were aimed far too much to the left and ended up going out towards the end of the game. But you know what? He deserves a 10 out of 10 today. I think he made 8 saves, 7 or 8 of them being absolute top quality saves. Some would argue kept Everton in the game. Some would argue kept Everton a point. I would probably argue against that because we had opportunities that could have gone our way, and in the same sense. But one thing is for sure, is Jordan Pickford was absolutely phenomenal today. Absolutely phenomenal. And this whole myth about him not being the best English goalkeeper, or he's a little bit shaky, or he's not that good for his football club, this is just coming from absolute nonsense idiots who don't watch football, and very certainly don't watch Jordan Pickford for Everton, because a performance like that today isn't, by any sense of the imagination, a rarity for Jordan Pickford. He was absolutely phenomenal today. He got to everything. He got down to everything. He threw himself at everything. He battled every time he needed to. He got down really well. It was a couple of really difficult saves to make. There was a couple of saves, actually, in that second half in which there were players stood in front of him, a little bit like, the goal we conceded against Leeds. There were players stood in front of him that made it difficult for him to decide which way to go, and he still managed to get down brilliantly and make the save. So Jordan was fantastic today. He was an absolute 10 out of 10. He's done exactly what he needed to do for a goalkeeper, and I'm even seeing some Reds giving him a lot of credit, which is mad really, because they're the absolute front runners of this nonsense story about him not being a very good goalkeeper. So the fact that they're actually looking and going, do you know what, he was really good today, just shows that he's absolutely fantastic. And I don't want to hear you Ramsdale nonsense. I don't want to hear your Nick Pope nonsense. Them two are fucking woeful compared to Jordan Pickford. Jordan is one of the best goalkeepers on the planet, and he showed it again today. So Jordan's getting a 10 out of 10. Vitaly Mykolenko at left back, I'm going to give Vitaly an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a very solid performance by him. Kept Mohamed Salah quiet. considering Mohamed Salah has been one of the best footballers, not only in the league but in the world over the last 3-4 years. He kept them incredibly quiet. There's a couple of moments where he got in behind and maybe it was a little bit too easy, but you're going to get them when you're coming up against players of that quality. But I thought for the most part, Vitaly battled, he worked hard, he won the ball back a couple of times, he won some important fouls in the box as well, which were really impressive. And I thought it was a really solid performance by Vitaly Mykolenko. He battled, as I said, going forward. Obviously he's lacking a little bit, and that will come. That will come in due course. He'll learn that, he'll gain that, he'll learn how to be an attacking fullback as well as a defensive fullback. But I thought today he was very good. Conor Cody, I'm going to give Conor Cody an 8 out of 10 as well. Really unlucky to not get his goal today, Conor Cody. Looking at, I've seen the replay, and from one angle it looks offside, from another angle it doesn't look offside. I think his foot's clearly offside. My big thing of it was his actual shoulder looks to be behind Virgil van Dijk's shoulder, which would mean he would be onside, given that we got a goal disallowed on Tuesday for his shoulder being ahead of an opposition player. I don't know. Listen, the offside rule is an absolute utter load of shite, and this VAR is utter fucking nonsense. However, I thought he was very good today, Conor Cody. Very good. And you could see in his celebration, this kid isn't really asked about who he supported when he grew up or where he grew up. This kid's asked about playing for Everton Football Club. This kid's asked about winning games of football. This kid's asked about wanting to drive Everton forward. And I thought today, not only the goal, which, as I said, he was very unfortunate to not get. What a story that would have been, by the way. Everton winning a Merseyside derby at Goodison and Conor Cody scoring the goal for Everton. What a poetic story that would have been, but obviously it wasn't the case. But I thought defensively he was very solid. Darwin Núñez, other than his shot, which obviously was saved brilliantly by Jordan Pickford, Darwin Núñez didn't really do anything today. And that was down to both defenders and Conor Cody. I thought today was exceptionally battled for every ball. He won the headers. There was a couple of really good crosses that got put in the box, that he headed out, and one absolutely smacked him in the face, and it was a really good defensive header. But I thought he was solid today. Conor Cody worked really hard, battled, fought for every ball, and he just is a top solid Premier League defender. A top solid Premier League defender who has made Everton light years better than what they were last season in terms of organisation, in terms of quality, in terms of leadership, in terms of ability at the back. We look so much better with him and Tarkowski, so he's getting an 8 out of 10. Tarky next to him, I'm going to give him an 8.5. I think he was probably marginally a little bit better than Conor Cody, just in terms of his battle and his desire and his ability to winning headers and throwing himself about into challenges. It could have gone either way. It's probably fair to give them the same the same score, but again, I thought he was very good today. Obviously, Liverpool had a couple of opportunities, but as I said, you're coming up against a team that not so long ago were Champions League winners, and then in another season were Premier League winners, even though they try and tell people it was in the same season when it wasn't. Your point is you're coming up against forwards that are some of the best in Wales football and have been some of the best in Wales football for the last 4 or 5 years or so. And, that obviously means there's going to be opportunities. That obviously means they're going to get in behind. They're going to cause you problems. But I thought Tarkowski and Cody today both were absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, I thought they were great. I really did. I thought they were great. And Tarkowski, again, solid. Won everything he needed to win. Battled, worked hard. I'm just looking at the picture of him to me left there, and he's just boss, isn't he? I absolutely love him. He's just boss. Nathan Patterson then. You know what? Nathan Patterson's getting a 10 out of 10 as well. I think there's 3 or 4 players that could have gotten man of the match today. Jordan's one of them. Nathan Patterson's one of them as well. Nathan Patterson was absolutely phenomenal today. This lad's a 20-year-old right back from Scotland who obviously come in last season, and there was massive questions about whether or not he'd be able to, settle into the Premier League. Could he come in and replace Seamus Coleman, who obviously has been such a solid servant and captain to Everton Football Club for the last 10 years or so? And Nathan Patterson stepped in and just gone, lad, obviously I'm going to be able to do it. I'm fucking boss of footy, and he is. His strength, his defensive ability, his ability to see a ball out, his tackling ability, it's all absolutely phenomenal. Going forward, again, same with Vitaly Mykolenko. Over the course of the next couple of years or so, he will learn, a little bit more about going forward and scoring goals, creating chances, and being that attacking fullback that, is so important in the modern day. But defensively, the kid is phenomenal. The kid is absolutely phenomenal defensively. Every single time Liverpool went down that right-hand side, left-hand side, or right-hand side, he dealt with everything he needed to. Again, a couple of crosses that got let in, but you're going to get that in a game of football. Of course, you're going to get that in a game of football for the majority of the game. I'm talking 99% of the game. This lad was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And what a player he is. What a defender he is, but what a player he is. You could see the battle, the fight, the determination. He had all of it. And as I said before, the reason as to why all of a sudden Everton seem to have an identity, the reason as to why all of a sudden Everton seem to be showing a lot more grit, a lot more fight, a lot more desire, is because we've brought players in that bring that. Conor Cody and James Tarkowski bring that grit, they bring that determination, they bring that fight. Nathan Patterson on the right-hand side, he brings all of that. And that rubs off on the rest of the team then, and I thought Nathan was fabulous today, absolutely fabulous. Into the midfield then, Tom Davies, I'm going to give Tom an 8 out of 10 as well. I think it was a very, very good performance by Tom Davies, if I'm being honest with you. Probably a little bit unlucky to come off at the time that he did. However, I understand obviously wanting to bring Garner on and fresh legs in the midfield and stuff like that, and a little bit more energy, I suppose, with Garner in there. But Tom, I thought, was fabulous today. Very, very unlucky again, similar to Conor Cody, to not get his goal. It literally... It's centimetres away from going in, isn't it? It hits the post and it's centimetres away from rattling the back of the net. And I actually think Tom does really, really well with it, because what he tries to do is place it, and that was the right decision. Because had he have just tried to hit it, it wouldn't have gone on target. And he had Alisson absolutely, Alisson was stood still. He was glued to the floor. He was never getting anywhere near it. And unfortunately, it was denied by the post. But I thought Tom was very, very good today. Battled for every ball, won everything back, didn't shy out of a challenge, got involved, put himself about, threw the tackles in, worked hard, ran around the pitch. As I said, for me, unlucky to have come off when he did. But again, I thought he was very, very, very good today, Tom Davies. Next to him then, Amadou Onana. Amadou Onana is in that bracket with Nathan Patterson and with Jordan Pickford. Amadou Onana's getting a 10 out of 10 as well. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, if you actually have a look at Amadou Onana's stats in today's game, it's unbelievable how well he actually played. I mean, let me try and get them up for you here, because he was phenomenal. I can't get them up because my computer's not doing what it needs to do. But his ball recoveries, his aerial duels, his tackles. Amadou Onana, I said this in the instant match reaction, I'll say it again. He must have attempted about 25, maybe even more, 20 challenges, sliding challenges since he's been at Everton. And I don't think I've seen him not win one. I don't think I've seen him get the player instead of the ball. I don't think I've seen him completely miss the player and the ball. Every single time he goes down to the floor, he wins the ball. And more often than not, he wins it in a positive way for Everton. So he doesn't just win it and put it out for a goal, a corner or a throw-in. He wins it and makes sure it deflects off an opposition player, or he wins it and hooks it back to keep it in play. The fella is absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. Well, I don't know why I went proper Jesse Marsh there. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. He's big, he's physical, he's demanding, he wins balls in the air, he brings it down, he can pass the ball, he can move well with it, he's clever on the ball, his tackling is brilliant, he's got energy, he's got stamina, he's got desire, he's got grit, he's got that passion. You can see him lifting the crowd and trying to get the crowd up. He's brilliant. Amadou Onana, I absolutely love him. And again, I think today he was faultless. Absolutely faultless. There was a number of Everton players that were faultless today, as I mentioned. Amadou Onana was one of them. I thought he was absolutely phenomenal. Getting about the pitch, showing that he can really mix it with some of the, best players in the country. Quote unquote. And, he was in there ultimately against Fabinho, who was seen as one of, if not the best sort of player in that position, in that area. And for me, he was much better than Fabinho today. Much, much better. I thought he was great again. Absolutely great. Alex Iwobi then. God, what is there to say about Alex Iwobi? I love this kid. I fucking adore this kid, I really, really, really do. It's so commendable, and it's so respectful of how he has turned his Everton career around. Alex Iwobi as a centre midfielder is a different fucking level, mate. He is a different fucking level. He's a completely different player. His energy, his commitment, His battle, his quality, by the way. What was that little skill move that sent Mohamed Salah, back to Chelsea? It was absolutely unbelievable. His feet are fantastic. His passing is good. His movement is great. But every single time the ball was in the air today, or every single time the ball was to be contested for, Alex Iwobi was there. No matter where it was on the pitch, no matter whether it was in our box, if it was in their box, if it was in the middle of the pitch, didn't matter where it was in the pitch. Every single time the ball was to be contested for, he won it. Or he was there or thereabouts to win it, winning headers, winning aerial duels, bringing it down, moving it well. As I said, his feet were the best on the pitch. He's got better feet than anybody else on that football pitch, including them lot. He was phenomenal. I mean, Star Wars says Mark Goldbridge was slating, and Mark Goldbridge hasn't got a fucking clue about football. Mark Goldbridge is a Nottingham Forest fan that pretends to be a Man United fan to make a career out of it. He hasn't got a fucking clue about football, that fella. But yeah, less of him. Iwobi was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal again today. And this is the 6th, 7th game on the bounce that Alex Iwobi has been, a man of the match contender. And as I said, I feel like Alex Iwobi could well have got man of the match. Didn't, because Pickford made saves and passes and etc. But again, for me, he was joint with them too. He was absolutely phenomenal today. And I love him. I love the kid so much. On to the forward line then. Gray. I'm going to give Gray a 7.5. I thought he worked hard. I thought there was fight. I thought there was desire. His corners are still a little bit shite. Let's have it right. They're not very good. But I thought he worked hard. I thought he moved the ball well. He got it into good areas. He was causing a problem. He was causing a threat. He was definitely giving them something to think about, and definitely giving them a problem, which is all you can really ask for, isn't it? I mean, look, I think we could do with more from the wingers. I think we could do with more output, more goal scoring output. But, Gray's got 2 and 2 this season. Gordon's just had 2 and 2. So, again, I thought he was good today. Thought he battled, thought he worked hard, and I thought his determination was good. His decision making a couple of times could have been a little bit better. But again, I'm not going to be sitting here and be critical of Gray, because I thought he'd done okay. Gordon, same, other side. I'm going to give Gordon an 8 though. I think there was a little bit more desire. I think there was a little bit more passion from him. I think there was a little bit more quality on the end ball as well. I thought he worked hard, thought he battled, thought he fought, thought there was a lot of determination, there was a lot of desire, there was a lot of commitment, there was a lot of fight. He was getting in the faces of their players, he was making them make challenges, he was forcing them into decisions. Anthony Gordon is a really, really, really talented footballer, and if Anthony Gordon can get his head down and add consistent goals and creativity to his game, then he will be a top player, worth much more than what he's being touted at the moment. And then Neal Maupay, I'm going to give Neal Maupay a 7, maybe a little bit harsh on Neal Maupay. Listen, he worked his bollocks off all game. He hasn't played the Premier League game of football so far this season. It was his debut in the Merseyside derby. Could he have done a little bit better in front of goal? Yes. Is the reality of the situation, yes. But I'm not going to sit here and criticise him. I thought his work rate was endless. I thought he held the ball up well a couple of times. I thought he was good in terms of, winding them up and ultimately, forcing the referee into making decisions. The referee, by the way, today was absolutely abysmal. That fella is a fucking bad idiot. An absolute bad idiot. But yeah, I thought he worked hard today. I've got no real worry about Neal Maupay. I think after a couple of games we'll start to see the goals coming in and the chances being taken. But I thought he worked tirelessly today, and I thought he worked hard. Onto the bench then. Dwight McNeil, I'm going to give him a 6.5. I think it's only fair because I obviously give him Maupay a 7. I thought he'd come on and ran round a little bit. He worked hard. He nearly... he nearly had the goal, which obviously was deflected, and forced Alisson into making a really, really good save. But yeah, he come on, he put himself about a bit. I think he could have maybe done a little bit more in terms of defensive cover and stuff, but he wasn't on for very long, and as I said, very little to judge him from. And then Garner Gay making his Everton return. I'm going to give Garner 7.5. I don't think he was quite as good as the others to get an 8, but he come on and you could see exactly the type of player he is. We're talking about a lad who's been playing next to Lionel Messi, Neymar and Kylian Mbappe for the last 3 years. His footballing ability is fantastic. His brain is great as well. He knew when to turn inside. He knew when not to turn inside. He knew when to knock it past players. Won the ball back a couple of times. And look, we know what Garner is. Garner's an outstanding footballer, and he improved this team dramatically, and it was great to see him back on the pitch at Goodison again today. Anyway, there you go. They are the player ratings. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you've watched live, massive thank you for watching live. Really do appreciate it. If you watch as a YouTube video, leave your thoughts down below and we'll get involved with as many of them as we can. As I said, Instant Match Reactions up now. If you want to go and check that out, please do so. It would mean a massive amount to me. And yeah, incredibly proud today. Even though we didn't get the win, I'm incredibly proud. But there you go. Big thank you all for watching, and we'll see you later.